I'm blocked. I did nothing wrong. Sorry. With those 3 sentences, Chase Stokes just turned Hollywood's cutest reconciliation into a public nightmare. Less than a week ago, he and Kelsea Ballerini were spotted holding hands in Croatia. Today, she's singing in the rain on national TV, and he's airing their dirty laundry on Instagram, from a drunken 2 a.m. DM to a song about being jealous of his Outer Banks co-star. How did it go so wrong so fast? Buckle up, because this breakup just got messy. There is something satisfying about watching a Hollywood romance crash and burn in real time. Just hours ago, Chase Stokes logged onto Instagram and dropped a series of posts that sent the internet into a frenzy. "I'm blocked," he wrote. "I did nothing wrong. Sorry, I tried." Then came the gut punch. "I'm sorry for those who believed in us. It is what it is. Onwards and upwards." No names mentioned, no explanation. Just raw emotion splashed across his story for millions to see. Meanwhile, Kelsea Ballerini was standing on the CMA Awards stage in a sparkly red gown, rain pouring down on her as she sang about loneliness and missed opportunities. Chase wasn't in the audience. He wasn't even in the country. 2 months ago, these two were spotted holding hands in Croatia, looking very much like a couple giving love another shot. 3 months ago, they were supposedly done for good after nearly 3 years together. And just days before that breakup went public, Chase had posted a loving birthday tribute, calling her "my love." So what happened between the European reconciliation and those brutal Instagram stories? Why is one of country music's biggest stars now apparently blocking her ex on everything? And what does any of this have to do with a Netflix show, a jealous love song, and an ex-girlfriend named Madeline? This story has more twists than an Outer Banks treasure hunt. And it starts with a drunk DM sent at 1:30 in the morning. December 1st, 2022. Kelsea Ballerini was out at a bar with her friends, a few drinks deep, scrolling through Instagram. But before we get to the romance, you have to understand the headspace she was in. She just finalized her divorce from country singer Morgan Evans a few weeks earlier. The split had been messy, public, and painful. But that night, something caught her eye. Chase Stokes, the guy from Outer Banks. She'd never actually watched his show, but she knew who he was. And apparently, they'd started following each other at some point. So at 1:30 in the morning, she did something bold. She slid right into his DMs with the most straightforward opener possible. "Hi, Chase Stokes," he replied 2 hours later. "Hey there, how you doing?" Simple, casual. And it changed everything. What Kelsea didn't know at the time was that she'd actually encountered Chase once before. Back in 2021, she was on an early morning flight, half asleep, when a young girl approached the passenger behind her completely starstruck. Kelsea overheard the whole interaction. The guy was kind, patient, gave the fan his full attention at 5 in the morning, when most people would have brushed her off. She remembers thinking he seemed like a genuinely good person. That guy was Chase. And this is where the meant-to-be narrative really kicks in. Their first official date happened January 7th, 2023 in Los Angeles. Kelsea has talked about that moment multiple times, and the way she describes it sounds like something out of a romance novel. Chase pulled up in his Bronco, stepped out, didn't say a single word. He just walked over, grabbed her face, kissed her, pulled back, and said 4 words. "Thank God you're real." For a woman fresh out of a divorce that left her questioning everything about love and marriage, it must have felt like the universe was finally throwing her a win. But keep that perfect boyfriend image in mind, because it's about to get tested. Within weeks, the paparazzi were circling, and by spring, they were ready to show the world exactly what they'd found. The couple didn't exactly ease into the public eye. By January 2023, Chase posted a cozy photo from the college football playoff championship that had fans connecting the dots immediately. Kelsea even commented, "Go Vols" on the post, basically confirming everything without saying it directly. Then came the airport photos. Paparazzi caught them at LAX, kissing, hugging, holding hands. No denying it anymore. When Chase appeared on the Today Show in March 2023, the host asked point blank if he was dating Kelsea Ballerini. He smiled, nodded, and simply said, "Mm-hmm." And just like that, the floodgates opened. Their official red carpet debut came at the CMT Awards in April 2023. Kelsea was co-hosting the show, and Chase stood by her side, looking every bit the supportive boyfriend. From that moment on, they became one of the most visible couples in entertainment. But if you looked closely, the intensity of their schedule was already a ticking time bomb, and they leaned into it completely. Met Gala appearances, award show after award show, coordinated outfits, Instagram tributes dripping with affection. Chase showed up at her concerts. Kelsea visited him on set. They had a rule about never going more than 3 weeks without seeing each other, no matter how busy their schedules got. By October 2024, they'd officially moved in together. Kelsea talked openly about how different this relationship felt compared to her marriage. She called Chase her bestie, and gushed about how he was the first partner who didn't feel like her complete opposite. She said she knew from the moment she met him that this was something special. Chase was equally vocal. He called their time together his favorite chapter of life, and praised her constantly in interviews. The couple attended the 2025 Grammy Awards together, looking absolutely solid. Everything seemed perfect. Until one specific weekend in September changed everything. Behind the red carpet smiles, cracks were already forming, and nobody saw the collapse coming. What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Okay, now back to the story. September 12th, 2025. Kelsea Ballerini's 32nd birthday. Chase posted a carousel of photos and videos celebrating the woman he loved. Sweet behind-the-scenes moments, candid shots of them together. He wrote about looking forward to more memories and signed off with, "Happy birthday, my love," and a heart emoji. But 48 hours later, those memories were deleted. 2 days later, it was over. Kelsea's rep confirmed to multiple outlets that the couple had split after nearly 3 years together. The timing left fans absolutely reeling. How do you go from a loving birthday tribute to a breakup announcement in 48 hours? So, what actually went down in those missing 2 days? Sources close to the situation offered some insight. Apparently, the couple had been arguing frequently in the weeks leading up to the split. Their communication had broken down. Both were traveling constantly for work, and the distance was taking its toll. The arguments kept piling up until something finally snapped. Insiders hint that the distance wasn't the only issue lurking in the background. But there was another layer to this story. Sources also pointed to something deeper. Kelsea was still processing her divorce from Morgan Evans, still figuring out what she really wanted from life and love. Even though years had passed, the emotional weight of that failed marriage hadn't fully lifted. She wasn't willing to settle, and eventually they both realized they weren't on the same page. One insider put it bluntly, they gave it their all and tried to do everything they could to make it work, but ultimately couldn't. It happens. Kelsea responded to the media circus the only way she knew how. She posted a TikTok set to an Ariana Grande track with a simple message, "Let us be." She wasn't interested in dragging things out publicly, but the public wasn't ready to let go. Especially when new evidence emerged that maybe this story wasn't over yet, especially when a fan photo from Europe proved this story was far from over. November 2025, just 2 months after the breakup, something unexpected happened, and the location is actually a huge clue. Chase was in Dubrovnik, Croatia, filming the 5th and final season of Outer Banks. And guess who showed up? Kelsea Ballerini. A source spotted them at a burger restaurant in the city, and what they saw didn't look like two exes just catching up. According to the eyewitness, they were holding hands at the table, talking closely, looking completely at ease with each other. When they left, they walked hand in hand toward Old Town, looking very cute together. Then came the videos. Footage circulated online of Kelsea and Chase dancing together to ABBA, laughing like nothing had ever gone wrong between them. She was FaceTiming him from Kentucky earlier that same month. She was liking his Instagram posts again. The internet exploded with reconciliation rumors. Were they back together? Had they worked through their issues? The answer seemed to be yes. But nobody realized they were watching the calm before the storm. Insiders seemed to confirm what everyone suspected. One source said that Kelsea and Chase were giving the relationship another try, and that they had fallen back into it naturally because there was still so much love between them. For fans who'd been devastated by the September split, this felt like a second chance at a happy ending. The fairy tale wasn't over after all, except it was. And the next chapter would play out in the most public, messy way possible. But then, Kelsea released a song, and the lyrics revealed a much darker problem. November 14th, 2025, right in the middle of those reconciliation rumors, Kelsea dropped a brand new EP called Mount Pleasant. 6 songs. Raw, vulnerable, deeply personal. She described it as a pulse check on myself at 32 and a document of heavy self-examination, longing, and stepping further into who I am. But one track didn't just spill tea, it poured gasoline on the fire. The title itself raised eyebrows. Mount Pleasant is a town in South Carolina. It also happens to be where Outer Banks films. Coincidence? Fans didn't think so. But one track in particular set the internet on fire. A song called Emerald City. The lyrics paint a picture of jealousy and insecurity, comparing herself to another woman, questioning why this other person still gets under her skin even though she's the one in the relationship, admitting the other woman is attractive while wrestling with feelings of envy. And fans immediately realized who she was singing about. They immediately connected the dots. Chase's ex-girlfriend and Outer Banks co-star is Madeline Klein. The two dated for over a year, went public in June 2020, and still work together on the show. They film romantic scenes together every season. Now, ask yourself, could you handle watching your boyfriend act in love with his ex every day? Was Kelsea writing about feeling jealous of Madeline? Was she admitting that Chase's past relationship with his co-star had been weighing on her? The speculation exploded across TikTok and Twitter. People started flooding Kelsea's comment section with references to Chase and Madeline. Some of the messages turned nasty. Chase stepped in to defend her. He commented on one of her TikTok videos promoting the EP with a direct message to the trolls. These comments are fucking weird. Grow up. But his defense wasn't enough to stop what was coming next. Kelsea addressed the controversy herself at a pop-up concert in Nashville. She got emotional while introducing Emerald City and told the crowd that she writes songs to relate to, not to make a point on the internet. She didn't write it to put anyone down, but the damage was already done. The drama had reached a fever pitch. And then Chase decided to pour gasoline on the fire. November 19th, 2025, the CMA Awards in Nashville. One of the biggest nights on the country music calendar. Kelsea took the stage to perform I Sit in Parks, the lead single from her new EP. The production was stunning, a park setting complete with a swing set, flowers everywhere, and actual rain falling on her as she sang. Emotional, vulnerable, unforgettable. But one person was noticeably missing from the event, Chase Stokes. And the reason for his absence was about to land on Instagram stories. He was still overseas filming Outer Banks. Some thought maybe it was just scheduling. Maybe he couldn't get away from set. But what happened next made it clear that something much bigger was going on. The very next day, Chase logged onto Instagram and posted a series of stories that read like a breakup confession. "Don't believe the media," he wrote. "I'm blocked. I did nothing wrong. Sorry. I tried." Then came a second slide. "I'm sorry for those who believed in us. It is what it is." Onwards and upwards. No names, no context. Just those words hanging there for the world to interpret. The message seemed unmistakable. Whatever reconciliation had been brewing in Croatia, it was done. Kelsea had apparently blocked him, and Chase wanted the world to know he felt he'd done everything he could. But here is the million-dollar question. Neither Chase nor Kelsea has officially confirmed what happened. Their representatives haven't commented, but the timeline speaks for itself. Dancing in Dubrovnik one week, cryptic breakup posts the next. Something clearly went very wrong very quickly, and now the entire internet is trying to figure out what. And when you look at Kelsea's history, you start to see a pattern emerging. Here's the thing about Kelsea Ballerini. This isn't her first public heartbreak. Not even close. Remember her divorce? The details are eerily similar. Before Chase, there was Morgan Evans, the Australian country singer she married in December 2017 after a whirlwind romance. They seemed like the perfect couple for years, but behind closed doors, things were falling apart. Kelsea filed for divorce in August 2022. She later revealed there had been years of couples therapy, multiple separations, nights sleeping on the couch. The fundamental issue came down to something they couldn't compromise on. Morgan wanted kids. Kelsea wasn't ready. When she told him she wanted to freeze her eggs instead of starting a family right away, she knew in that moment the marriage was over. But look at how messy the aftermath got. Morgan released a song about being blindsided, while Kelsea claimed he was fighting for half of the house she paid for. She publicly said the man she divorced wasn't the man she married. They haven't spoken since the paperwork was finalized. Sound familiar? Blindsided seems to be the key word here. Now look at the Chase situation. Another relationship that started with intense romantic energy. Another very public coupling. Another messy public ending with cryptic social media posts and insiders spilling details to the press. One source made a telling observation during the September breakup. Even though years had passed since her divorce, Kelsea was still figuring out what she really wants. Still processing. Still healing. Is it possible the problem isn't the men, but the timing? Some people are wondering if maybe the issue isn't the men she's choosing. Maybe she's still carrying wounds that haven't fully healed. Maybe she's searching for something she hasn't quite found within herself yet. Or maybe, as she wrote in her new music, she spent too long being a people pleaser, saying yes when she should say no, jumping into the water even though she's scared of sharks. The truth is probably somewhere in between, and only Kelsea knows for sure. So where does this leave everyone? Chase is back to being single, publicly airing his frustration on social media, while trying to finish filming the final season of the show that made him famous. His posts suggest he feels blindsided, wronged somehow, but he's also making it clear he's ready to move on. Kelsea is diving headfirst into her music. Her 5th studio album Patterns dropped last year to critical acclaim. Her new EP is generating massive conversation, even if some of that conversation isn't the kind she wanted. She's currently a coach on The Voice, and just wrapped a successful arena tour. Her career is arguably at its peak, but there's one person staying suspiciously quiet in all this. Madeline Klein, the woman at the center of so much speculation, has stayed completely silent. She's been linked to several people since her split from Chase back in 2021, and recently confirmed she's single. Whatever she thinks about being dragged into this drama, she's keeping it to herself. And the fans? They're left picking through cryptic Instagram stories and song lyrics, trying to piece together what actually happened. Some are Team Chase, convinced he got a raw deal. Others are firmly in Kelsea's corner, respecting her boundaries and her right to block whoever she wants. The real answer is probably that relationships are complicated. Fame makes them exponentially harder. And when two people are constantly traveling, dealing with demanding careers, processing past trauma, and living under a microscope, sometimes even the strongest connection can't survive. Kelsea said it herself in one of her new songs. She's doing a pulse check at 32, examining who she is and what she wants. Maybe this breakup, as painful as it clearly is part of that process. One thing's for sure. Neither of these two is going to fade quietly into the background. Chase has more seasons to film, more red carpets to walk, more chances to find love again. Kelsea has more albums to write, more award shows to perform at, more stories to tell through her music. This chapter might be over, but their stories are far from finished. But knowing these two, this is just the season finale cliffhanger. And if history is any indication, we'll probably be talking about both of them again very soon. So, what do you think actually happened between Kelsea and Chase? Was the jealousy over his ex the real issue? Were they just never going to work long term? Or is there something else going on that neither of them is telling us? Drop your theories in the comments. And if this story taught us anything, it's that in Hollywood, a birthday post one day can turn into a breakup the next. Nothing is ever as perfect as it looks on Instagram. If you made it this far, you already know the deal. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because when the next update drops on this situation, and trust me, there will be one, you're going to want to hear about it first. Until then, stay tuned.